Hello and welcome to this week's segment of ABL's Top Plays. Starting us off at number 5, in White Lotus vs No Fear, Predemity teams up with his jungler to look for an engage on the White Lotus bot lane. However, some great kiting allows White Lotus to not only survive, but turn the 2v4 around.
Forward, throws out the Q. Here comes the Nocturne though, going in for the Paranoia, trying to do a little bit more damage. He does get rooted up, and there's the turnaround kill, the Arcane Barrage. Loki Dosi is able to get this kill. The 2v2 is going extremely well at F-Road. Able to get another kill with the trap. Gonna go for some auto attacks. Mucho Gosu running away. Here comes Jock, gonna get a nice rocketed auto attack. There's the Sheep proc.
Next up at number 4, Dynasty eSports sees an opportunity to engage, and Dorhan jumps in with a 3-man Cataclysm. However, there is not enough DPS to follow up, and First Blood starts to turn things around. That is until Bishop and Rat join forces to kite back and turn the fight back in their favor.
That's a great kill from Bishop to stop the ace in the hole. Mike gets taken down. Tibbs comes in. He finds the shutdown. What can they find onto Bishop? Because Rat is here. It's a 2v2 in the rivers. That's the Hextech ultimatum onto Bishop. Bishop, they find the outplay. They find the kill. DTS will be able to find one, but the True Shot Barrage will find the shutdown, and it's gonna be the ace.
And at number 3, First Blood are defending their turrets from Shelly when they find members of Polar Race caught out in the jungle. They collapse, but when Tibbs joins the fight, they realize they may have bit off a little more than they could chew, and Polar Race walks away with a 4-for-1.
Able to pick out Purpose, but not before going down to Tibbs. In fact, Tibbs now launching forward. He's going to get rooted by Karma, but now Gaudier launches backward. The Polymorph comes through. Knock up, barely not going to miss as Mike is able to pick out Ozzy in this backline. You see Gaudier goes down for a double kill for Tibbs. Tibbs flashes forward to get the 3rd Q on the top of Jax. Now we see a little bit of damage. Not quite. Burn comes through. Mike and everyone trying to chase forward. They go for the launch forward on Rampage with B-Tang there. B-Tang gonna be picking up the kill.
Coming in at number 2, Recon 5 are knocking at the door of Grim Legion space when Moody is able to find a well-placed Gragas ultimate onto Ikea. Sandillion doesn't miss a beat, jumping in on Yasuo and securing the quadra kill, leading his team to victory.
Down, looking for some more PvPs coming out. It's coming through, coming in. Rudy's coming back. He's gonna find the barrel. Looking for Hands of Blood there. He's gonna go through the stopwatch. He's gonna get himself alive. Double killing for Sandillion. Sandillion's still alive. They can't stop this man at quadra kill. He's gonna find the ace. They're gonna find the end of this game, and that's gonna be exactly what Recon 5 was looking for.
And finally at number 1, First Blood have their backs against the wall and look to make a comeback play into Polar Ace's Ozzy and Jack. However, they cannot keep up with the kite and are led straight into the waiting arms of Tibbs, who picks up a stylish pentakill.
Big heal. Now looking to turn around. We do see Final Trap come out as Mike is in this back line. Looking to see this gonna come out. Now Tibbs is in the battle. Gonna be able to pick up a kill on Vladimir. He's in the middle of the pressing guard. Flashes past and looks back on the rev off to get the double kill. Now goes deep onto Ozzy for the burn to burn through. Triple kill now as he turns to Gaudier for the quadra. It's gonna happen. Jack is gonna go down for the pentakill on to Tibbs.
Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of ABL Top Plays. We'll see you next week as we track the league's biggest plays around Summoner's Rift.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ABL Season 7, Week 7, as Polar Ace Esports take on Grim Legion for the battle for the final playoff spot. I'm your play-by-play caster, Milky Serial, and joining me as my color caster is the Prophet Rebel Fox.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? And how are you doing, Milky?
I'm doing pretty good, but you know, these teams, they're excited. They're already in picks and bans as soon as we come in, so we're already seeing some big bans, the Aurelia, the Kennen, as well as the Yuumi and Pantheon as well.
Yeah, Pantheon, really big ban, especially targeted up towards that top side against 12-inch. He plays most of it. Also, Urgot. Nunu is an interesting choice. So Hands of Blood doesn't play tons of junglers, but Nunu is one of those that he likes to play. So not shocking to see. It is very preferential right now. Super strong solo queue pick for anybody that needs a jungler to pick up.
Yeah, and for those of you guys who didn't actually catch the match yesterday between Grim Legion and No Fear, we saw that Nunu come out, and it was actually pretty big, but Grim Legion, they just played this kind of explosive style of League of Legends, just so much happening, really action-packed, and I'm looking forward to a similar kind of play style again tonight.
Yeah, already another adaptation. So these are two champions we haven't seen pretty much all season in the Nunu and the Swain coming out here. Swain can be in a couple of different positions, but I expect it to be bot lane. I think it's pretty decent champion in the bot lane after they've kind of buffed up the range on that Q. Turned into a lot better of that 2v2 champion. He was so dominant back when they first kind of nerfed ADCs. Now he's coming back in this kind of reformed, and Thresh is a perfect combination with all that CC in the bot lane. Oh my goodness, they're just trucking through right now.
Well, the Morgana Caitlyn was left open and Grim Legion snap it up. They say, Thresh, you can land those Qs, but we've got a black shield available and you're not going to be able to CC us down.
Yeah, a lot of like aggressive junglers are open here for Gaudier, though we know it's something he likes to play, so it wouldn't be shocking to see one of those. Yeah, there's the Jarvan coming through. A lot of really good picks coming out right now. Caitlyn Morgana, as you said, super prominent bot lane, very kind of classic in terms of bot lane CC, CZ prevention, and then range between the two of them. It'll be interesting to see how the Swain, the Thresh kind of interact with this lane, especially given that black shield is going to be such a crucial cooldown.
And we'll have to keep an eye on that bot lane, as well as whether we're going to be seeing the Swain going through into that bot lane. But the Riven ban coming in, and one thing that is open as well right now is this Corki that we could be seeing getting picked up from the Grim Legion mid lane. Rhynek, he played it twice yesterday, and it is a good champion for him.
Yeah. Kind of looks like Aces. They started with the Respect onto the Sylas. I'm not sure if those are top lane bans or mid lane bans. Maybe they're just trying to pinch both pools, taking out Sylas, and then Renekton, definitely that top side ban, trying to protect that a little bit. As you said, Swain can still be flexed, basically top mid or bot lane. I said I expected to go bot lane, but certainly it can go anywhere at the moment, especially given the fact that Morgana Caitlyn has been locked in so early. I expect another top lane ban here from the side of GLE. Yep.
Well, I guess Tristana can't do the top lane ban right
now. Now she does.
I guess Tristana can go pretty much everywhere with the exception of support and jungler, but I'm sure someone will work out a way to get that to work, as the Corki is actually going to get picked up by Polar Ace here as Vladimir gets locked in for Grim Legion.
Yeah, we see there's a lot of magic damage. I want to see an AD or a little bit tankier probably, but definitely an AD champion towards the top side of this map. Of course, they could still wait. Oh, wow, okay. It's a lot of standard right there. So they have tons of AoE magic damage basically across the board. Now they have two tanks. I don't think I've seen two tanks on the team for like 3 seasons. So a little shocking, but still Caitlyn's going to be under the microscope in this one with the AD. A very solid, well-rounded team comp from GLE.
Yeah, and there are still a few AD top laners that we could see. Maybe something like the Jace. Even though Renekton has been banned, the Urgot is still available as well.
Jace makes a lot of sense. Yeah, as you said, Jace makes a lot of sense in this composition. You can kind of run poke with the Corki and the Jace, and there's plenty of frontlining you can do. You can run in with Swain, with Jarvan, with Thresh. Even Jace can kind of jump in there. Both these teams have crafted the compositions that are actually really cool to see. Like I said, I don't think I've seen Swain, Maokai, Nunu for like the longest time. So it's going to be cool to see some of these older champions resurface here and how they can interact between these team fights.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to go back to this style that Grim Legion like to play, just because it's really fresh in my mind from yesterday, just how aggressive they play, how they get their skirmishes to work. So considering that kind of play style where they just go for these really long extended fights, is this a comp that can kind of work to their favor?
Long extended fights? Oh, absolutely, definitely. The thing is you can prevent engages from things like Jarvan, like Swain, like Thresh with his Black Shield from Morgana. And the thing is, in terms of just pure press a button and start, you really only have the Jarvan, in all honesty. He's the go button for everything you have to do. The problem is also, though, that like you have quite a bit of damage consistently from Corki, from Swain, and from Jace. So what I think has to happen is Grimoire has to be able to disengage fights very cleanly, otherwise they're going to run into trouble. If they can break off and have multiple engagements, 1 engagement, 2 engagement, they favor that because you have Nunu, Willem, Snowball, you have Maokai on his engages, multiple things like that, and then the sustain of the Vladimir and the Caitlyn over time will keep them up and ready to fight, as you said, that kind of skirmishing style. But if Ace can find 1 clean engage and then keep the fight going over and over again, just don't let it break off, they're going to be able to find some pretty good engage. All they have to do is kill Caitlyn, kill Vladimir. These tanks are going to do much damage.
Yeah, and, you mentioned how Grim Legion, they've gone for, the 2 tanks of the Maokai and the Nunu. Speaking of Nunu, the Absolute Zero is absolutely massive when you can get it charged up. But, of course, one of the issues is sometimes it's quite easy to get out of it despite the slow. But if the Soul Shackles do come through from the Morgana, it's going to make it that little bit easier.
Yeah, pretty decent wombo combo here from Vladimir Morgana, Nunu Willem. As you said, the absolute zero coupled with those soul shackles and even Vladimir's hemo plague, all super good team fight alternates. If you land even 2 of those on top of one another, Caitlyn can clean through an entire fight. It's also pretty easy, as Nunu Willem, you're going to see a lot more zoning ultimates because you have things like Swain and Jace, which are both, they have some range, but they're certainly more mid-range champions to low-range champions as opposed to something like this Caitlyn, like this Morgana, who have more of an effect from further away. The only one who kind of is going to be difficult to hit it on is Corki. But do expect that to kind of be one of these ways that they can disengage fights from the side of Grimoire.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the generic how the fights are going to go. If you are the side of Polaris, as you mentioned, you just want to keep that fight going, not allow Grim Legion to back off at all. But let's go through your kind of individual laner versus laner, starting from that top lane with the Jason Maokai.
Yeah, so I think this is where all the pressure from the side of Polaris really needs to come through. Jace into Maokai is a very Jace-favored matchup in the early game, and it scales pretty well in terms of side lane pressure, things you can put on. And even better is Jace Jarvan will always beat Maokai Nunu. There is no damage coming out of Maokai Nunu, so unless they catch them in a very precarious situation, really going to be hard for these 2 champions to lose at all for the first 15 minutes of the game pretty easily. So to me, you got to get Jace going. You got to try to keep him ahead in the game because he's where all your pressure can come from. If you can collapse topside, you can split push towers, start taking some of these neutral objectives. And as you said, if they're coming ahead on the skirmishes, if Maokai isn't coming in at full health or if he's not able to teleport in out of fear of the Jace just taking everything, that's when this composition starts to fall apart.
Yeah. And, also looking at this Polar Race lineup as well, you got the Jace with those empowered Qs. And the Corki missile barrage, it's a lot of poke that Grim Legion will have to be respectful of.
It is. And even better about that is, again, Vladimir has quite a bit of sustain. Nunu has quite a bit of sustain. Even Maokai, tons of sustain just built into their kits, but they're all very low range. So things like Jarvan and Thresh can punish that if they're in the correct position, if they have the correct warding to try to prevent that sustain from coming through. And then, as I said before, Jarvan, if he finds a solid engagement into some of these champions, doesn't matter if he's hit with all the abilities, even goes down. So long as that engage comes through and sticks, killing Vladimir instantly wins a team fight for them. Killing Nunu can take an objective for them right off the bat. Don't have to worry about it. So it's all about kind of where Gaudier is going to go with this Jace, finding these perfect engagements and preventing any disengage from Nunu, from Maokai, keeping the sustain away.
And, you mentioned that kind of objective focus, but Nunu, one of the best junglers for securing objectives because he has the consume, which acts as a second smite. In fact, probably a bit better than a smite, in fact, considering the amount of damage he has off. But one of the biggest objectives always at the start of the game is going to be those Drakes. So when we look at this bot lane, you've got the conventional kind of powerhouse of this Caitlyn Morgana into, you kind of somewhat off meta Swain Thresh. How is this going to fare out in that early game?
Yeah, so it's certainly not anything you're accustomed to seeing, the Swain and the Thresh. It hasn't really been meta for at least a little bit now, probably over a year now that it has been. But certainly it's something that scales a lot differently and feels a lot differently than it did back then as well. And putting Swain with something like a Thresh it's a devastating combo. Having CC with Swain just stacks that E over and over and over again. As I said, the range increase on his Q made a massive difference. You can trade through minions. You can farm minions much, much easier with it. It is a completely different Swain than what we saw even last patch. Caitlyn Morgana, very strong, probably the textbook lane in terms of what you see in League of Legends in the bot lane. This is why you play. This is why Ozzy and Jack are going to try to show us why would you play Swain and Thresh in a lane when you could have a traditional ADC and a support to do this. There's aggression that can be made. There's a lot stronger mid game coming out of a Swain. You don't have to wait for items to scale nearly as badly as Caitlyn does. And if you're able to take some of these skirmishes in the river, a Caitlyn and a Morgana do have some struggles. They take a lot longer to get damage out than something like a Swain and a Thresh will in some of the skirmishes that they want to take. So long as they're not giving up tons of bot lane priority with this Swain with the Thresh pick, I think it should work out for them in the mid game.
Yeah, and also one thing that we can mention now that we are in the spectator today is all the summoner spells have been locked in. Both TP Flash coming in from the top lane, but the biggest discrepancy is in that mid lane and jungle. We're seeing 2 TPs coming out versus the heal and the ignite for the bot laner and mid laner of Grim Legion respectively.
Yeah. We see 2, as you said, 2 ignites and then the heal coming out. So there's still 1 TP versus 3 from the side of Polar Ace, which means they do want to get around this map. They want to have effects. I think an ignite at least on Corki, would have been beneficial. As I said, there's 3 champions with built-in sustain, but they want to be around this map. They want to be everywhere, and they want to bring all their champions all over the place. Swain can split push just like Corki and Jace can, so maybe they want to rotate around like that, keep someone in a side lane at all times. Kind of have to wait to see what their plan is with it.
Well, game 1 of Polar Ace versus Grim Legion is just around the corner. We're going to be heading into a short break, but we'll be right back with a match. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game 1 between Polar Ace and Grim Legion. Grim Legion on the blue side, Polar Ace on the red side. And if you haven't already, do subscribe on the Twitch channel. All of the proceeds from the subscriptions go towards making this production even better for you. You also get points for subscribing, tipping, and hosting. And at the end of the season, whoever has the most points will get $10 on their PayPal. You can also bet points for your favorite teams and double up those points, but it looks like we're going to be getting an invade, Rebel.
Yeah, so Polar Ace was actually spotted out pretty heavily ahead of time. We got to see whether Ace is actually going to follow this through and come around the backside, or just walk directly into the tribe rush. They have quite a bit of damage at level 1 and sustain 2. It's going to be difficult. I don't know if they're actually going to fall for it and walk back through the tribe rush.
We'll have to see. At the minute, they just seem to be sitting fairly contently in the bush outside the red buff. And who's going to make the first move? It's looking like it's going to be Grim Legion. They make their way in with the biggest ever snowball, but they aren't going to be able to find anyone as Polar Ace. They're going to be able to land the death sentence, but no full engage coming through. And one thing I want to mention of that is Hands of Blood starting on the W with the Nunu.
Yeah. No, now, that's not a terrible pickup. Obviously, you want to start Q most of the time. I'm surprised he didn't adapt. So you can actually kill your entire Raptor camp with a fully charged W and just a couple of autos, especially with the attack speed you get. So I'm surprised he didn't want to opt for that. Maybe he's not comfortable with that pathing. But as you said, great that both these teams were able to get some rewards down. Fortunately, Polar Ace actually gets the better of the vision because they see the start for the side of Grimoire. But both of them kind of getting out without a scratch on them. So that's positive.
Well, as there comes the death sentence in the bot lane. Sleepy Bulbasaur will take a bit of damage, but obviously he isn't level 2 yet and is not going to be able to get off any real combos just yet.
Yeah, he's probably going to feel Black Shield level 2, which is really rough for the Morgana as well. It just keeps getting hooked, or some CC can come through pretty much any time from either of these two champions. So one Black Shield is going to have to be used very, very effectively if they want to make sure that advantage doesn't get higher.
We'll have to just be careful of that, because Ikai on the Caitlyn, and of course Caitlyn has probably the biggest range of any ADC level 1 and can just poke so much.
Okay, so Hands of Blood, actually, he just went down to his Krugs, attempted to take those, but without Smite, he has no sustain. So starting that W and then going immediately E level 2 didn't give him enough sustain to actually get through his jungle. Now Gaudier is all over him. He's taking his camps already. So he not only has
gets
his own
knocked under turret. He almost gets taken down there. Sorry to cut you off, Rebel.
Yeah, no worries,
He's got really close with 12 inch, almost finding the outplay on Toucan.
Yeah, have to be very careful. So the Jace can be aggressive, but you have to be very, very cautious. You still have to be wary of tower. And Maokai does do damage, especially with Aftershock this early, coupled with the sustain from his passive, can make him rough. Ooh, there's Gaudier. TP's coming through on the flag.
Drag over the wall. TP coming in. We talked about this TP advantage, and Khan had to TP back into lane anyway, and he's able to do it while defending Gaudier.
I was just excited about the flag being used for a TP. I've never actually seen that interaction before. I knew it happened. I just have never seen it, so I'm just happy to see that.
Oh, there we go. We get to see something new every day over on ABL. And no kills just yet. We're almost 4 minutes into the game. First Drake's going to be an Ocean, which will be up in just over a minute. So not one of the highest priority Drakes.
Yeah, good for both teams, though. I think both of them would like to have it for a lot of different reasons. But basically, I think it's whoever team gets the setup first for it. But they're both going to be competing at least for that setup. They're not just going to give this away for free. Yeah, so you at least keep an eye on that, because it's certainly a point of contention. Nunu can do it on his own if he needs to, but we'll see whether that's the case. Yeah.
Would also look for a potential gank mid. Always going to be a little bit difficult though. XA on that. Corki has a Valkyrie available.
Yes. Nunu's sitting kind of in the spot river, going for this Reschedule. Not sure where he wants. He can look mid or top, but right now Corki's pretty pushed up, so it could be somewhere to look.
Oh, there comes a flash of Flay. Kaya forced to flash over the wall. Once again, we're not going to be able to see any kill, but biggest ever snowball coming through in the mid lane. Not going to be able to find his target. Valkyrie comes through. XA flashing away. In comes the damage from Reinek. Ignites ticking. First blood goes over to Grim Legion.
Yeah, really not bad from either jungler, both trying to find something. The flash burn from Micaiah, but then there's the kill going over that way to Ryanek, burning the flash and the ignite onto the Corki. Really well done by him. That Vladimir got some gold in his pocket. That's a big portion of this team fight that just got ahead.
Yeah, as we saw the engage coming through in the bot lane, and Grim Legion answering perfectly with their own gank in the mid lane, able to find the kill. And actually we just saw in the bot lane, Jack able to land a death sentence, but the black shield just meant that Ikaya had so much time just to poke to his heart's content.
Pretty good. Also, Khan right now is able to keep 12-inch in this top lane right here. It's very difficult for him to find it back with these Qs coming through. He might end up just having to walk completely away from the tower, just burn an entire wave, and then come back with the TP. It would put him at a disadvantage, but it's not going to put him nearly as badly as like dying under tower, especially if Jarvan comes up right here like he's pathing for.
Gaudier looking for the potential gank. He will have the flag and drag available, and looks like he's just going to wait for Khan to push this wave in. Khan will move forward. He will get a little bit of damage onto 12-inch beforehand. There comes the damage. Flag and drag misses his target. Khan finds the kill regardless. Gaudier is trapped under a turret. He takes a lot of damage, but he will be able to survive. And it's a 1-for-1.
Yeah, thankfully also, because Gaudier drops the flag, the attack speed boost goes over to Khan. It didn't actually secure the kill, the auto came out before it, but it did secure him the assist, so it wasn't completely wasted time for Gaudier despite losing most of his health bar. So good job there, again, finding that pressure, pushing that Maokai over and over, not giving him the ability to back, gives Khan an advantage in this top side. That's kind of the way to win the game if you're on the side of Polar Race.
And of course now you've got Khan 1-0. However, Reinek also 1-0 in the mid lane for Grim Legion. So we're going to have to see who's a bigger carry potential, as the game will settle down a little bit for now.
Absolutely. Corki has pretty safe trading as well, so Vladimir does have plenty of sustain to work with. These rockets are going to keep coming out from Corki, give him the ability to CS pretty freely, but as Maokai continues to fall behind, if he falls behind the Jace even further than he is now, he could really start to struggle in this laning phase, and I think that's kind of where it's at. Corki, even if he's down 1,000 gold, could still farm it out. I think it's a lot more difficult for Maokai to farm it out to tank items, because team fighting is just so much harder to approach here.
Hands of Blood going to get hit by the flag and drag, will cancel the biggest ever snowball. XA is here. Nice, it's a 3v1. Hands of Blood will get locked down by the Flay. Dark Binding won't be able to find its target, and Hands of Blood will fall. Now, XA might be looking for something. Oh, Death Sentence won't quite be able to find Sleepy Bulbasaur, as Ikaya looking to get a little bit of return damage onto XA, but it's just going to be 1 kill for nothing in favor of Polaris.
Yeah, good response from both sides. Also, great job by Khan getting a solo kill up in that top side.
Oh, yes, as Ikaya is going to fall, the heal comes through, but it's not enough to deny the ignite that takes it down, and yet another kill going over onto Polar Ace.
Very, very clean. Again, Polaris just finding kind of these spots, these open areas where aggression is had where there shouldn't be. Just a little bit of overstepping here from Grimoire.
Rhynex getting really aggressive. He's going to go in. He's burnt the Hemo play as XA finds a final auto, and the Lantern will be enough. Minion autos almost take down XA, but the kill will go over to XA nonetheless.
Yeah, really close fight again. I think Ryanek pulled off just a little too fast there. I think he should have gone forward, tried to get another auto, another Q off onto XM, because it certainly would have been his death. But because he kind of backed away thinking his death would be enough, trying to get out of that situation, doomed him to losing that 1v1. So it's really unfortunate. He was in a good situation, but now kind of equalizes that lane for himself. And again, a little bit of overextension from everybody by Grimoire over this last few minutes, and you've given 4 kills and an Ocean Drake away to Polar Ace here.
And Grim Legion starting to fall behind 5 kills versus 1 in favor of Polar Ace. 1.5k gold advantage. It's a 2-0 Khan in the top as in comes the biggest ever snowball. He's not going to be able to find his markers. In comes the package. Khan though, he's going to get CC down. The ultimate from Nunu's going to get cancelled. He gets chased down by X, or the missile barrage won't be able to find his mark, but XA picks up the kill nonetheless and make that 6 kills versus 1 in favor of Polar Ace.
Yeah, really, really well done by Khan. He saved his E. That is the ability to, kind of knock people away, the CC that he has in his kit. I saved it for that absolute 0. We got another gank coming in bot lane.
Yes, here we go. The Cataclysm comes through. Ikai's in a bit of a sticky situation. There's going to be absolutely nothing he can do about that. As a Death Sentence comes through. That's a great little combo. Got it with the flanking drag, won't be able to find the knock-up, and right now Polar Ace going to have to settle for just that 1 kill.
Oh my goodness. Again, every single one of these lanes feels so isolated from one another. It also feels like the junglers are just not finding the right places to be on either side, but it's benefiting Polar Ace so much more. They're just finding every single advantage.
Oh, Dark Binding actually lands, followed by the Soul Shackles. Oh, the shield comes through from the Dark Passage, and somehow Jack survives. That was a close one.
That was insanely close. Oh, he's trying to find it too. Oh, yeah. Okay. Back away. Yeah, they're just going to push it out, not going to try to punish the Morgana for doing so. Again, just every single time, just a little bit of overextension, little by little. That time, Sleepy Bulbasaur, he burned his... I don't think he burned anything, actually. So he didn't burn either Summoner Soul trying to kill Jack there.
Oh, no, he flashed. He's flashed.
Oh, he did flash. So he flashed.
He ignited, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so he burned. It was flash for flash. That's not a terrible trade, I suppose. He almost found something, but again, the over-aggression constantly from Grimoire has just kind of been their demise already in this game. They need to bring it back. Again, they have good team fighting with 2 tanks. They have to be able to kind of wait for this Vladimir and this Caitlyn to get in a good place. Otherwise, they're going to continue to get bullied across the map.
And, while Grim Legion are behind at the minute, 1 kills versus 7 there, 3k gold down, do they have the advantage of being able to sit and wait for late game and then outscaling this composition from Polar Ace?
So they don't have the wave clear of like a Corki and a Jace and even like this Swain here, but they do have the ability to sit and wait, because obviously the one engage tool you have is Jarvan, and late game Jarvan it's not a super massive overpowered like tank. So I think they do have that ability.
Oh, here comes the Flagon Dragon to Hands of Blood, who is looking for the steal. He charges the absolute 0. God here finds the kill regardless. Card is really low. The flash forward from 12-inch will be able to secure the kill. God is quite low as well. 12-inch looking to find something. The Rift Herald is super low. The Flagon Drag gets cancelled. Shutdown goal going over onto Rhynex, finding the kill onto God here. XA is really low. 1 auto might be able to do it, but the flash away from XA will be able to buy him enough time, and Valkyrie will be up in 10 seconds, and there won't be any further follow from Grim Legion, but they are able to find 2 kills for 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Rift Herald had gone over to either team. Yeah, Rift Herald. Okay, they're TPing on. Okay, they're gonna get the Rift Herald for TP from Con 4, but definitely worthwhile to have that objective. So they did. So I think they over-aggressed trying to take the Rift Herald as an objective. They ended up losing the fight afterwards because of it. And then also you saw the team fight mechanics of what's going to happen. Vladimir stays alive because he has plenty of sustain, and all the rest of them have to do Hands of Blood, 12-inch, and even Sleepy Bulbasaur. Their whole intention is keeping him alive. The longer they keep him alive, the better the fights go, and that's what you saw right there. Still, it kind of looks like a positive play in favor of Polar because they got 2 kills off the back of that, and this Reschedule giving tons of gold over this Jace.
Yeah, he will be able to give over that turret plating onto Kantop, who gets all turret plates coming through. So we hit the 13-minute mark in this game as, in comes the gank in the mid lane from Hands of Blood. He comes in with the biggest ever Snowball, not going to be able to find his mark. This has turned into a 3v2. A lot of damage will come through from the absolute zero. XA super low, not going to be able to find anything. Rhynek finds a kill. It's 1-for-1. Ace in the hole comes through. It takes Jack so low. The kill going over onto Grim Legion. Soulshack has got to come through. The flash from God here to be able to buy himself a little bit of distance. Ozzy really low. Ikaya finds a kill. Make that 4 kills for 1 as Grim Legion come out on top.
Yeah, and again, you see kind of the whole intention behind this team composition. Huge AoE from Ryanek on this Vladimir to start, and then Hands of Blood continues to kind of zone them away from this Vladimir, let him skirt around the outside of the fight. Ikaya gets there first, obviously, to be able to secure the rest of it, but that was a lot of that was, again, keeping this Vladimir peeled away from the rest of the team, just letting him do what he needs to do and put out damage, and now he's starting to kind of pop off. He's at 4-1-2 now on the Vladimir. He has the most gold of anybody on the field. That's what you want for this Vladimir right now. And buying him time.
In comes the package. XA looking to find the damage. Flag and drag available from Godit, but Polar Ace will not be able to go through the pull coming through. However, Jack's been hit by the Dark Binding, and he's going to get taken down. Another auto will be able to do it. However, the Death Sentence comes through, followed by the play. Ikar will be able to find the kill. However, the Cataclysm comes through. He's going to be able to survive, has the heal available with the flash. Hands of Blood finds the kill with the absolute zero, and it's 2-4-0. Another Dark Binding is going to be able to land onto Ozzy. Ozzy will be able to zone away, and Grim Legion will not overgreed, and they'll back off with their heads held high.
Yeah. Jack just trying to get some sort of warding there. I think he was pushing up to try to take that control ward and just got caught out pretty excessively. And then Gaudier got there first, which was really nice, but there was a 3 versus 2 because Ozzy wasn't anywhere near the area. So it was just kind of a one fight for the side of Grimar the whole time. I also noticed because the Bramble Vest is now finished, and then also Raptor.
Rynek's going really aggressive in the mid lane. He's popped the Hemoplague. XA backing off. Hemoplague is ticking with the Ignite. He's going to be able to survive. The Flay comes through. Rynek takes 1 turret shot, but he's going to be able to survive with the Transfusion. Nothing comes through in the mid lane. Once again, super duper close.
This fight's getting closer. Ryanek is, I think the intention is very clear that he is going to become a 1v5 monster here. He's already doing it, taking on 2 people right there, and I think coming out in a winning trade. It's going to be very difficult to stop this Vladimir. You need, okay, so Jace has Grievous Wounds already. That's a great start. I think they need it on one.
The Dark Binding is going to be able to cancel the back from Jack. Ace in the hole will come through. It's not going to be enough damage, though, as Grim Legion turn their attention to this Mountain Drake.
Yeah, just trying to zone them away from this Mountain Drake as best as possible. Really good take there for the side of, with this Caitlyn, with this composition with 2 tanks as well, you want to free up space for her to be able to take neutral objectives, and that's one of the best ways is to speed up her time.
In the top lane, in comes the ultimate from 12-inch. He gets Khan low, but got it. Turns up with a flag and drag, forces 12-inch backwards once again. No kill coming through. But XA is here in the top lane. He's going to get caught out by a sapling, so 12-inch knows that he's there. No ultimate available for 12-inch. Can he find the play with a turret super low? And he
watch bot side as well. Dude is collapsing down here, and Thresh is mid lane at the moment, just trying to keep waves off. So Ozzy is stuck here with 3 people around him with no way to try to fight this off, most likely.
Let's see how this goes. Jack might get spotted out by, he will be able to spot out Hands of Blood, but Hands of Blood has turned up into this bot lane. Soul Shackles will come through. The Lantern is brought down, but it won't be picked up. The constant CC chain comes through, and Grim Legion find yet another kill.
Yeah, they did lose first tower for that, but trading a kill over was certainly worth it. Just crush it on the Ryanek.
Ryanek is getting just beaten down by that sword of Gaudier, but the Cataclysm won't come through just because Transfusion was available, and Ryanek will be able to escape fairly comfortably. But the kills are now leveled out at 10 kills apiece. What was looking like an almost 4k goal lead for Polar 8 is now completely neutralized. In fact, about 300 gold in favor of Grim Legion.
Yeah, and a lot of that is due to Ryan just being a beast in a lot of these team fights. I think it's been very difficult for Polar Ace to try to stop this Vladimir, especially with things like the Maokai, like the Nunu, just CCing people, knocking them away from him, keeping him spaced in these fights to kind of buy him time to do damage. The other thing is bot lane has been like really well. So after the first couple of hooks, trades for Ozzy and Jack, I expected them to at least stay even, but at this point they're actually down 1,000 gold behind the Caitlyn, and that's not where you want to be in a composition like this. The Jace got ahead, and the Jarvan got pretty decent advantage, at least in the early game, from some of these ganks, but it wasn't enough to offset these losses they've had in the mid and bot lane, and that's sort of the fear now for Polar Aces. Grimoire, they've got what they want. They have fed Caitlyn, they have a very fed Vladimir coming into this game where a little bit longer, and this Maokai is going to start to become very scary in terms of tanking it, so will the Nunu, and that team fight is not one you'll win if you're Polar Ace.
One thing I want to bring up is this kind of play. I mean, this is what we were talking about from Grim Legion. This is their play style. They find, it almost feels like they're consistently baiting these engages that look good for Polar Ace 2v1. Then all of a sudden, they just out-rotate Polar Ace, and they find these picks. They find, these extended skirmishes and pick up the kills.
Yeah, and it's shocking that the team with 3 teleports is the one that's getting out-rotated. You should be able to bring at least 1, if not 2 people to some of these skirmishes and completely turn them on their head. I just don't think Polar Ace is ever expecting that to happen, so they're not willing to kind of call it out ahead of time because they don't know what's happening at the time.
As the mid lane outer turret will fall, just the outer turret in the top lane still standing for Polar Ace. We're almost 20 minutes in the game, and the Baron will be spawning soon, but I feel like it might be a bit of time before we see either team start on that objective.
Oh my goodness. We have an exceptional amount of... I need to make mention of this. This Maokai's build is just absolutely all over the place right now. He has a Bramble Vest, a Raptor Cloak, and 2 separate Spectre Scowls just for base stats. He's just a junk drawer of nonsense, but it's giving him enough to at least stay relevant in this game. He actually has a bounty of 150 gold on himself because of his contributions to some of these team fights. Now, here's the thing. Doing this actually puts him further behind. He has flat stats now, but to finish items, it's going to be way more expensive. So he needs to make this work immediately. They need to take this Maokai with all this magic resist and health and armor now and fight with it, because it's going to put him massively. His mid-game has now been kind of shotgunned forward, but it's going to be a lot weaker in about 5-10 minutes when he's not finishing items and everyone else is.
We'll have to watch out for that when we hit the 25-30 minute mark. Grim Legion just going to set up a little bit of a Baron vision for now. Next Drake will be up soon, and that's in 30 seconds, which is going to be another mountain. And Grim Legion already have 1 mounted Drake. A second mounted Drake will do tons for them for the ensuing Baron.
That it will. And again, a lot of this composition in terms of objective control is about this Caitlyn. And so giving her the ability to kind of do most of the damage on her own. Obviously, everybody can throw some in. The Nunu with this Mountain Drake's going to do immense damage with that Q. But still, it's something to kind of pay attention to, that Akaya and Ryanek kind of will be the main damage source for these objectives. So having Mountain Drake's going to make it a lot easier for this team to kind of take it down to a normal speed instead of relying on just like the base attack of an ADC, kind of being the only thing you can rely on to damage a Baron or something like that.
Polar Ace trying to start on this Mountain Drake. Grim Legion kind of fainted a Baron, but obviously they can't really go for that this early in the game, as the turret in the top lane will get taken down. Polar Ace have taken down the Drake quite low, but in comes the commit from Grim Legion. They're committing for this Baron. 3 TPs are available for Polar Ace, but there aren't any wards down. Baron down to 3,000 HP. Is there any way for Polar Ace to contest this? No, there is not, and the Baron gets secured, and the engage on Khan finds one. The flash forward from 12-inch. He burns the ultimate. They find the pick. They find his second kill as Ryanek goes on to a rampage. Look at 12-inch. He finds the knockback. The flag and drag from Gode to try to find a bit of fight. 12-inch super low. The Cataclysm comes through. Still they don't find the kill. The kill finally comes through, but at what cost? 4 kills for 1, and Grim Legion are steamrolling this game now.
Yeah, really clean decision making right there. They know they have the Mountain Drake, and then they just play chicken around it. They have the warding control around the Baron to start with. They lose, kind of area around the Dragon, and they're like, hey, if no one's going to come respond, we're just going to take it for free. And then the issue was Gaudier, I think, got a little bit overextended. Oh, we see.
Oh, the engage coming through from Reinek. He was really low. He's going to find the damage anyway. It's a 1-for-1, which feels like a good trade as that's a kill coming through from the Swain. Khan looking for some damage. He will have that Q, the shock blast available in just a second. Can he find the pick? It's gonna just about miss, and Sleepy Bulbasaur will be able to escape.
Yeah, that is really important though, that they overextended. I think they got maybe that one mid inhibitor or like interior tower, but that was it. That Baron is now basically dead. You have it on Morgana, you have it on Nunu, but that's not going to get you more than like a tower. They could have sieged for inhibitors if they had been a little more patient, but instead they lose 1 kill diving a Corki, and then Khan finds an amazing TP, gets 2 more off the back of it. Really, really well played. Good response from Polar Ace. The play, it started with a little bit of too over-aggression from them, trying to contest a Baron that was already gone. They find their redemption right there. Now, the game isn't blown completely out of proportions. It's 3,000 gold, but that's workable at 23 minutes. That's really good job from Polar Ace.
Yeah, 3k gold advantage for Grim Legion. However, they do still have Baron, 2 Barons remaining on their champion, so there's something that they can work around. Next week is going to be another mountain as well, so that can still be big priority. As right now, Grim Legion just going to get the waves pushing in this mid and bot lanes.
That they will. Again, they still have Baron on a couple of members, so they're able to siege up, especially with a Caitlyn with the range. I would expect at least this tower to be taken away. That's not impossible for them to just siege up on. And it's something that Polar Ace should be more than willing to give away. Obviously, you don't want to give anything for free, but they have the Baron, they have the Caitlyn. It's going to be hard to contest. You might as well give it, try to reset some of your other lanes, get some of your jungle farm back, and just get prepped for the next big fight, which will probably be around either Mountain Drake or Baron when the time comes.
The player has set up those traps for any potential flank, as 12-inch trying to get off a little bit of damage under turret. Here comes a siege from Grim Legion. The turret is falling quite quickly. However, Polar Ace will keep it alive for a little bit longer, as you might be seeing a potential engage coming through. Flag and Drag comes in, it gets cancelled immediately. The death sentence won't quite be able to find its way onto 12 inches. Oh, that's a package being burned there from SK, as the inner turret will finally fall as Grim Legion keep this push going.
Now this, okay.
Oh, a Death Center comes through, followed by the Flake. 12-inch able to dash out. Cataclysm will secure the kill. Khan going in, he finds the damage, but this fight is going in the favor of Grim Legion. Ozzy is really low. He's burnt the ultimate. He's going to be able to survive though, and currently it's a 3-4-2 in favor of Grim Legion.
Yeah. Good start off for Grim Legion. I think that was kind of a miss opportunity there for Polar Ace. I know they landed a hook onto the Maokai, but they need to just give this up. Like, giving up that bottom tower is not the worst thing in the world. Now it's going to be extended to, at minimum, this inhibitor tower, if not more, if Ryan can find more. We'll see. XM.
Oh, that's aggressive from Ikaya. He finds the pick, using the 90 caliber net to just close that range. Is Ozzy going to get a bit of damage onto Ryan? Not going to be enough, as the first inhibitor of the game will fall 25 minutes in.
Yeah, none of that needed to go over. Again, Polar Ace, they found a hook on the Maokai, that's great. All you need to do is keep them away from your tower. You have to run out Baron, and as soon as Baron's gone, they have no pressure anywhere near you. Instead, they engage onto a full health Maokai with Aftershock being procced. I understand he has no real completed full item. He has one completed full item at this point, but still, he is insanely tanky. You can't engage on him.
Chasing down Reinek. He's going to try to find the damage. The Lantern comes through as well. Jack getting taken low. Grim Legion going to look to turn this around. They find the pick on Khan. Got it, running for his life now. Will be able to flag and drag to safety, but Polar Ace looking to find some consolence kill, but they get taken down, and it goes from bad to worse for them.
Yeah, they did the same thing they were trying to do after Baron last time. Last time it worked because Khan found a really good TP flank, and yeah, I don't think that Grimoire was able to expect it. This time, everyone was there. They were protecting the backs of their allies. Take down Mountain Drake for free. Again, that should have been one tower in the bottom side. Instead, they lose 2 towers, an inhibitor, and lose Dragon, and probably 2 more kills than they needed to during that entire exchange. That was just a completely unnecessary waste of resources for Polar Ace. You have to kind of, yeah, again, both of these teams, they've done it a couple times where you overextend for something when you don't need to. Just pull back on the reins, take what you can, and wait for the next fight. Wait for your next opportunity.
Oh, 12-inch looking for the damage onto XA. He's going to be able to find a bit. Gets the CC down. The Valkyrie over the wall. A flash comes through from 12-inch. XA responds with a flash of his own and will be able to escape, but both flashes burnt.
It's a rough place when you're a Corki at 27 minutes and you're getting 1v1 by a Maokai. That's a really unfortunate place to be if you're XM, but that's the unfortunate situation of where they're at right now. This Maokai has so many items in terms of like what protection is against Corki. He has 2 full magic resist items and 2 items that prevent auto attacks. This Maokai is built to prevent the damage from this Corki from killing him ever. So this is going to be a rough situation for Polar Ace coming into the second Baron. And again, 2 Mountain Drakes now. Caitlyn is a lot more fed. I think she is at like 2.5 items more than she started with last time. And now even Ryanek finishing up a few items, has Rabadons now, has Zonia's completed now. Like, this is just getting more and more scary for Polar Ace. Grimoire looking like all they need to do is close it out.
Yeah, and that actually, we just saw Ikaya take down about half HP from Khan with 1 headshot, as Khan going to be able to take the Lantern to safety. Baron is up, and Grim Legion just going to be able to secure the vision around it, and they can make their way over pretty much whenever they want. And I'm not sure if Polar Ace can even contest this, not against Hands of Blood on that Nunu.
That's the case. They could at least try, and I know Gaudier is super aggressive. He's going to want to contest it if he possibly can. Coming around the side here, I don't know if they're going to be able to find a full engagement, though.
Grim Legion will back off for now. They're playing this little game around Baron of when do you think we're going to start it? And there comes the headshot, finding so much damage. And right now, Grim Legion are going to wait because they've got a massive wave pushing in it on the spot side, and now they start the Baron once again.
Yeah, and Ozzy has to respond to it quickly because otherwise his TP is going to be worthless if they want to come in and try to contest it. I don't know if they're even going to be able to get this hit. Might just be a 50-50 from Gaudier.
The TP is coming in now. The Baron does get secured. And Ozzy, it might be in the wrong place right now, but a lot of damage coming through. They find the kill onto Sleepy Bulbasaur. Cataclysm comes in. Gaudier flashes out straight away. He gets taken down regardless. Demonic Ascension comes through. The stopwatch gets popped by Ozzy. Ikaya drops down the trap. He finds the kill. Khan really low. He flashes out safety. It's not going to be able to save him from Ace in the hole that finds its mark. 4 kills for 2, and Grim Legion turn their attentions to the Nexus.
Yeah, and there were minions flooding into the base anyway. That was a lost fight from the side of Polar Ace from the time they started. I thought they could have maybe just cut their losses and tried to take the fight later. They could have been more patient again instead of trying to contest for it. They got 2 kills for basically only Gaudier, and it was on to a couple of important members, but unfortunately they just kept the fight going, overextended again, and that cost them, again, the game right there.
Grim Legion, they find a win. Make that 3 game wins in a row for them. And after coming off from being, I believe it was 0 and 12, sorry, 0 and 8. They went 0 and 8 over 4 series, and now they've gone 3 and 0 so far. The start of the game looked questionable. It looked rocky for them, but they came in with, I guess, better coordinated fights even, and they take the game.
That they do. And again, I think it was a really well executed composition, as you said. That not only was it like what they were executing and how they were executing it, but it was just a kind of new style. Again, we haven't seen tanks really show up for quite a while, so having 2 of them on your team to kind of peel away for a Vladimir and a Caitlyn as the game goes on worked perfectly for them. Khan had a little bit of an advantage to start with. He ended up basically doing nothing towards the end of the game. Gaudier on a tank Jarvan really wasn't getting much done either in terms of engage, just going way too far for his team. And Aussie on this Swain just completely fell out of the sky. I don't know where he went, but at the end of the game, he was doing basically nothing, which is kind of a shame. So obviously there needs to be changes. They have to prepare. Is this going to be another 2-tank composition?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this best of 3 between the Polar Ace and Grim Legion. Grim Legion took game 1 after a rocky start, and as we make our way into game 2, what can we expect to see here, Rebel?
I honestly don't expect much difference in terms of both drafts. I didn't think they were terrible on either way. There's some adaptations that need to be made from Polar Ace. As you see, Vladimir's already been taken off the table. I don't think Yumi needs to be taken away, so I would say Sivir is the other ban here, unless they're willing to first pick it, which is definitely a possibility. Yeah. If I had to guess, they're going to first pick Sivir here. I think it's the safest option for them, and it's obviously an insanely good champion right now.
And we're going to see the Aatrox being banned away. As you mentioned, that Vladimir respect coming through. Still a lot of things available. The Caitlyn Morgana is available. And it'd be interesting to see whether Polar Ace want to go for the Swain strategy in the bot lane again.
Like I said, I think with Sivir up, it's not worth it. I think you just take Sivir and you walk away. Oh, okay. They're going to punk me. That's fine.
I mean, Renekton was banned away in game 1 and Polar Ace pick it up for game 2.
In fairness, Polar Ace are the ones that banned it away. And also,
yes.
At the time, they had no idea there was going to be a Maokai on the table. So they were banning away champions that they weren't necessary. So now Polar Ace gets priority on it, which is a positive thing. But again, I don't know why you would give it up with Sivir on the table, at least, to start with. And I don't think it's as big a priority as you need it to be.
As we're going to see the Trundle getting picked now. Again, I might be mistaken, but I think Grim Legion actually flexed the Trundle into the top lane yesterday, so that could be potentially something that comes through. And I guess it also scares Polar Ace away from a potential Sejuani pick, which is currently open.
I think that's what the big thing is they want Sejuani to not be taken without having to burn a ban on it, so you can flex it. Okay, now you can't flex it into the jungle, so I don't know what their intention is here. They could be running a glacial glacial comp like we saw. I think it was Team Liquid did it, where they ran just all ice champions. But like I said, I don't know why Trundle became immediate for them, especially knowing Renekton. Well, you just don't want to take that pickup, especially because Trundle's not a fantastic matchup to start with into Renekton. So obviously this might be just 12-inch, just flexing, knowing the matchup. We're just very comfortable on the Trundle pick, something like that. And Sivir and Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai isn't as high priority as he has been. They get Sivir in second rotation. That's insane. That is incredible draft value for that Polar Ace.
And one thing that I was really liking about this from as we see the Tristana coming in. However, Grim Legion played this yesterday and it went in the bot lane, so I don't think it's going to be as exciting. It's not going to be a top lane Tristana or anything, unfortunately. But I want to go back to Polar Ace because one thing that I kind of like from this is, you know, in game 1, the advantage that they had was in that early game. They found those picks and then it started to go a little bit south for them. But with the likes of Renekton and Rek'Sai, this is high priority in the early game where they can really try to snowball their advantage.
That they can. I'm interested to see also what the rest of this is. So a lot of supports getting taken out. You see Morgana, Alistar both taken away, and then Corki's gone right now. My curiosity is, like, are they willing to put Tristana in that lane, or are they not willing to put Tristana in a solo lane? So like if they've put themselves in a situation where Tristana can't actually be put somewhere else, then Ace has a lot of information to work with and a stronger bot laner already. So I think they have to be careful with how they play the rest of this draft, because if they kind of pigeonhole themselves into playing Tristana in the bot lane, there's way too much for Ace to work with at this moment, especially since they have, at least on paper, a better top laner to start with.
Well, the Braum does get picked up and Grim Legion say, Polar Ace, we want to see what you're playing in the mid lane before we decide where our Tristana's going to go. And, well, the cards are for Polar Ace right now. You still got the likes of the Twisted Fate available that could come through. And, of course, your kind of control mages like a Syndra or Orianna as well.
I don't like those. I don't like anything control right now. Is just a bad option because there's too many tanks on the field. If it were me and it were my money, I would really want something that does either really decent bursts so they could try to take some of the early game duels, or they need something with very, very clean, consistent damage that does damage the tanks. Something like Cassiopeia would make a lot of sense in the mid lane.
Kiana.
Kiana, it's too much burst. I just don't know. Yeah, Kiana, I don't think is Ryze makes some sense. I don't think it's as strong as Cassiopeia, but certainly I think it's a more flexible laner because they can still throw Renekton in mid if they really wanted to. But that's the idea here is they want more consistent damage. Now Rek'Sai is kind of relegated to building tankier, and Renekton's relegated to building tankier. But Sivir Ryze to me is a lot safer into a comp like this than a Swain and a Jace and a Corki was last game. So better adaptation here from Polar Ace.
Well, Grim Legion will be picking the Syndra, so that is going to be a Tristana ADC. So it looks like we're going to... Yep.
So not necessarily. So believe it or not, Syndra's actually picked more in the bot lane than Tristana is right now, and Tristana's picked more mid lane than Syndra is right now. So while
no way.
Typically you'd think Syndra mid lane, Tristana ADC, they could still swap it very easily.
So it seems like another flex coming through from Grim Legion. We were saying in the lobby chat beforehand, I want to see some spicy draft, and I guess my wishes have been fulfilled. But now we are in the in-game champs league, we can see for certain where every champ is going.
They disgrace the art of war.
I'm like postulating these insane kind of flex picks, and it's just gonna be like normal standard like Syndra mid, Tristana bot, that nonsense.
Yeah, you hyped it up. If I get let down and it's a Tristana bot, I'm going to be very sad.
Trust me, I'm also going to be like I said, there's no better time for Syndra. It's like Syndra is like a high key bot laner right now. It's not even like I think it's picked more than Swain currently is in the bot lane. That's how popular it is. And again, Tristana's been almost exclusively solo lane for the last couple patches. So I'd love to see it. I think Tristana's great into Rise. I think it's something that can harass him. I think it's something that can match his wave clear very quickly. And it's something that completely shuts out his ability to run into you. Because if he burns that root, he's ult him away immediately.
Yeah, and of course, Rise can't really do anything. Like, as soon as Tristana drops that explosive bomb and jumps on him, Rise can't do anything because even though he gets the root off, I guess Tristana just keeps on attacking him because a root isn't a stun at the end of the day.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you lose some of your combo if you're Rise, and you have to at least root early to make sure she can't get away. So that's something else also. Now, we see Rise in the top lane. Renekton probably going to XM then in that case. But certainly I'm confused a little bit as to where everybody's kind of going to end up, because I don't think you want Trundle into Rise. I don't think that's a good matchup for the Trundle personally. And that I think Rise just has too much agency in that laning phrase for free. Here's the moment of truth. Does Ryanek take Syndra or Tristana? No, please. No.
I mean,
no.
unless Ryanek is going to be playing APC and Ikai is going to... I mean, it could be a similar thing as to...
Like I said, we could still see that flex come around. Like I said, I don't think you want Syndra into Renekton or Trundle into Rise. I think those are terrible matchups for both of these champions. So if you have that option to flex them into other places, I would do so immediately. Like I said, I think Tristana's very good into Rise. I don't think Trundle's terrible into Renekton so long as you have a little bit of armor to start with. And then Syndra in the bot lane is perfectly capable of dealing with something like a Sivir. Like, obviously, the stun's not going to land most of the time, but you have plenty of moves to be able to wave clear against the Sivir. So to me, I think that's what makes a lot more sense. But they seem to be going a little bit more standard at the moment, so we'll have to see whether that's where they want their champions at.
Yeah, and I would ordinarily say, Rebel, let's talk through these actual matchups, but considering there is still a high possibility of things being swapped around, let's focus on the jungle matchup for now, Rek'Sai into Nunu.
Okay, Rek'Sai into Syndra, is that what you want?
No, Rek'Sai into Trundle, because Nunu's going to be playing solo.
Wait, Rek'Sai into Trundle, Rek'Sai into Nunu?
I don't know anymore.
So Nunu is the jungler. That's the other than Braum, that is the one definitive we have in this game at the moment. Rek'Sai into Nunu. You saw what Hands of Blood could do on the Nunu last time. I thought he had some okay ganks, but he wasn't really popping off in the early game, and I think Godir really needs to be aggressive early. Jarvan is a champion that you can get some early aggression on. We saw it a couple of places, but he didn't get anything massive off. But Rek'Sai can really put in some work, really get some of these kind of reps in across the lanes, especially with people like Renekton and Pyke on the map. They have to snowball early. This is a lot better of a snowball composition. And then if they transition to late game, what they really have is Rise and Sivir, two AoE team fight like spread damage champions. And then you have Rek'Sai, Renekton, and Pyke to buy time. That's what you've got for the remainder of the fight. It's difficult to pull off, but it's not impossible. I think it's a little easier than their last comp to pull off with that Swain. But again, this is multiple tanks. It's not nearly the Maokai, but now you have Trundle, Nunu, Braum, but only 2 sources of damage in the Syndra and the Tristana. I think it's a lot harder to put out damage as the Syndra in this composition. So to me, this is kind of an extra. It's a greater version of what we saw last game, where it's very snowbally from Polar Ace, and a lot of it comes from Gaudier, a lot of it comes from Ka on top, where they have to snowball these lanes early, and a lot of it from the other side on Grimoire. They're a lot more tanky, but their damage is very focused in the 2 people that they have to protect. And so if you're not able to do that, it's going to be a lot harder for Grimoire to get it done.
Yeah, and even if Polar Ace find themselves on the back foot with the likes of a Sivir and a Ryze, they do have a lot of wave clear, so they can, deal with the siege as well.
That it will.
And
I'm just disappointed. I am deflated because of this draft right now. I came in with such high expectations, and they're just deflating. We have see triple teleport as well on the side of Polar Ace again. Hopefully that kind of pans out. We have 2 ignites and a heal again from the side of Grimoire Legion. So we'll have to see these teleports come into much more play than we saw last time, because it was kind of draining. It was they got out rotated even with 3 teleports on the side of Polar Ace.
yeah, and it feels like that is something that Grim Legion do really well. However, last game we saw that on the core key anyway, XA was able to get off some nice rotations, at least in the early part of the game. Again, with Ryze, level 6 has that realm of available, and it is now confirmed that XA will be playing the Ryze in the mid lane and Khan on that Renekton in the top lane. So let's just talk about this Ryze into Sivir matchup, because Syndra pushes really, really hard.
Yeah, I think it's a lot harder for Ryze to manage now without the point and click ability of the root to be able to kind of prevent her from moving. He can still trade very positively into Syndra, but now it requires a little bit more in terms of leveling, in terms of like itemization in order to really beat the Syndra. But his team fight presence is ridiculous. Like Syndra can nuke somebody, she can stun people, but her damage is so much harder to hit across all 5 members than Ryze's is now. Ryze can completely devastate a team with just a couple E's and a Q now, especially if you go something like Spellbinder. So I think lane purely goes to Syndra, especially with things like the Nunu, like the Trundle, like the Braum that can come along. But if XM can survive on the Ryze, he will become a terror in the team fights.
Well, it's a second Nunu game coming through from Grim Legion eSports. We're getting a Syndra into Ryze as well as a Pyke, which could just add to the spiciness of this game. We'll be going into a short break, but we'll be right back with game 2 between Grim Legion eSports and Polar Ace eSports. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 and potentially the final game of this best of 3 between Grim Legion and Polar Ace. Grim Legion are on the red side, Polar Ace on the blue side, and Grim Legion took Game 1. If you haven't already, do subscribe on Twitch. All of your subscriptions go towards making the stream even better for you. You also get points for subscribing, tipping, and hosting the stream. And at the end of the season, whoever has the most points will get $10 to their PayPal. You can also bet. Actually, I think the bets have closed, so that's irrelevant then. You can't bet anymore, folks. Make sure you do it next time. However, both teams going to fan up for now, and we may potentially once again see an invade coming through from Polar Ace.
Yeah, quick little invade just to get some vision control on this bottom side jungle. The response is coming out from Grimoire, though, because Pyke and Sivir just weren't in the area. Wanted to make sure they were around Sis if necessary, so even wards, even vision, even information from both teams.
Yeah, both sides going to get the ward at the Raptor camp just to see where the junglers plan on going, whether they will make their way over to their blue side or not. Both junglers, though, going to be starting on their bot side camps.
Absolutely. That is really good for Gaudier. To me, I think getting to this top side for him fast is going to be absolutely vital. Trundle's actually going down, getting late vision into the blue side of... Oh, no, he went down to check. He didn't actually leave a ward. He could have had crazy information should he have left a ward there, but he actually decided against it. So Trundle, seeing the blue side start is not what's happening, so information given over to Grimoire.
And they will get that info, although I don't really see the point considering though that they had the ward at the Raptor camp anyway, so they would have known if Hands of Blood was in that bot side or top side.
I suppose the fear is just if you start blue buff and then you want to clear to Raptor, if you want to do full blue side clear and then go right to red, maybe the ward expires and you don't see him, so you don't know which direction he starts at. So they just confirm absolutely he's not starting blue buff.
Oh, in comes the rocket jump from inside. They hit level 2 first. Bone Skewer will come through. A turret shot will come down. However, Sleepy Bulbasaur with the Unbreakable will be able to just give Ikaya a little bit of safety, and no kills will come through just yet.
Yeah, that was kind of a shame there. It was a really solid idea from Jack to try to flash and Q, especially without the rocket jump up, but unfortunately it was just barely on the edge of tower, and Ikaya didn't take barely any damage, was able to walk away from it for basically free, because there's no additional CC on top of that, but still a good idea from Jack. It's just flash bird for basically nothing now.
And that's going to be a flashless Pyke for a bit, as in comes the engage from Gaudier. The CC will come through. The knock-up as well, 12-inch with the flash. He gets down the ice pillar. Will he be able to escape? The flash not available for Khan or Gaudier, as Hands of Blood is here. Can he get any damage? Reinek has turned up as well, as... Oh, that's the CC coming down onto Gaudier. This could be turned around. 12 inches so low. He's going to be able to survive. First blood goes down to Reinek. Khan on the run now. Reinek and Hands of Blood chasing. They're getting down the damage. In comes the E from Hands of Blood. He'll get the CC. Reinek with the scatter picks up a double kill.
Man, that was such an unfortunate play right there from the side of Polar Ace. They had a good engagement, great gank from Gaudier to try to get onto 12-inch. It just wasn't able to secure the final kill right there. And then that pillar perfectly placed to separate the two of them, and the rest of his team responds way ahead of time. I'm also not sure what it was, but Renekton had used that E. He tried to dash to start the Kolba Meek. He used that to start with somewhere in the middle of that fight, and it got either disrupted by Syndra's E or by the snowball from the Nunu, which was absolutely incredible, because if he gets that kill, that's a different fight altogether.
As XA now on the run, as biggest ever Snowball comes through. Snowball Barrage not going to be able to find the CT, but quickly they get the flash from XA, and Grim Legion with a great start so far, and we're only 4 minutes into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. As you saw right there, a little bit of trading between the two of them. The grass proc really kind of changed it back. Here's Gaudier again on the follow-up.
Gaudier wants to have round 2. However, 12-inch will be able to escape fairly easily with the Frozen Domain. Preyseeker not going to be able to find its mark. But Gaudier, he's coming again for round number 3, this time through the Tribush. He's put down the control ward and knows that there is no ward. He won't be spotted out. Will he potentially go for something? 12-inch turning up here. He will drop down the wood. In comes the knockup. Khan looking for. He finds the CC on the edge of the turret. He takes turret damage, but he'll be able to find the kill regardless. Actually going over onto Godir on that wreck side.
Absolutely. Really impressive. That's kind of what you want. You want to throw pressure down onto this Trundle because it isn't a great pickup into Renekton. And so finding that was pretty good. I think he could have made the first gank work. There was no pillar readily available for the Trundle. He could have definitely eat in. So finding a gank to start with is really positive. Here's Infernal Drake, though, going the way of Grimoire.
Godir focuses attention to the top side. Hands of Blood says, fine, you can go after 12-inch. I'm going to use that time to take an Infernal Drake. And that's a pretty big Drake going over to Grim Legion this early in the game.
Yeah, big start right there. Again, a small advantage, about 2,000 gold lead here for the Renekton in the top side could be big. But right now, Syndra sitting at like 2,300 gold, has huge advantage over Ryze in the laning phase. And again, it could be very, very good for skirmishing with that stun. So Ryanek having this advantage is huge to start with.
As we're going to see yet again another trade coming through in the top lane. Pressing attack has been brought, but 12-inch playing aggressive gets down a chomp and will back off with after a fairly even trade.
Yeah. The big part of this lane is that both of them have pretty decent sustain, but Trundle never wants to take a fight if the Fury is up for the Renekton. If Fury's up, he loses basically any trade, it doesn't matter. But should he take one without Fury, as you saw right there, the consistent damage that comes out from a Trundle, so long as he
Jack gonna go in with the E. He'll find the bone skewer, the knockup comes in, and that is a Kligan power. The Unleashed power will find a bit of damage onto Godir, but it's not going to be enough as the kill will come through. As in the top lane, Khan finds the solo kill onto 12-inch, and now Polaris have the kill advantage, 3 kills to 2, but still a little bit down in gold.
Yeah, really impressive right there. It was great roam from Jack on the pike right there, something we hadn't really seen in game 1. He was pretty much tethered to bot lane the whole time. That time, able to find a roam alongside Godir to make sure that that gank works. If Pike's not there, that actually probably doesn't work super well. Ryanek might even get a trade kill onto Godir during that process, but because Pike was there, able to do something, able to get a really clean gank off and get Ryze a kill, which is a good start for at least where he will be in a little bit.
Oh, the blade, Bone Skewer will land on Sleepy Bulbasaur, but the Unbreakable will be able to prevent any further damage. But he does get taken down to about half HP. Ikai gonna have to settle down for a bit. Items dead even in this bot lane, with the exception of that dagger in favor of Ikai.
Absolutely. Big thing also is that Jack doesn't have completed boots yet, but no completed support item here from Sleepy Bulbasaur, yet Jack is the one who is able to find the roam. Sleepy Bulbasaur needs to find some sort of roam to make these boots purchase worth it, otherwise this Relish is going to fall behind for him. Ike trying to find something else here on the roam up.
He's rotating up as Khan gonna go in, the slice and dice comes through, he finds the CC. 12-inch looking to turn this around though once again, but in comes Godir from behind. He'll find the knockup. Can Khan find yet more CC? 12-inch will be able to get back under his turret as Preyseeker won't be able to find its mark. XA on the way up. This is going to be a 3v1. 12-inch still giving a lot of respect. In comes the Realm Warp though. Where does 12-inch want to go? He decides he wants to use the Frozen Domain back on the turret. In comes the Dominus. Khan gets the CC and XA does the rest, picking up the kill. And now Polaris will just settle for some turret plates as Hands of Blood makes his way to the mid lane to try to trade that turret plate gold.
Absolutely. Really well played there from the entire top side of Polaris. Bringing up XM completely secured that kill in their favor. I think they could have played the tower dive a little more cleanly because Khan just kind of dove for it, took a couple of tower shots. Didn't end up mattering in the end, but certainly could have gone poorly in another situation. They could have started it off with Rek'Sai, but still, they were able to make that work, get some tower plates for this Renekton, and now he is massively ahead. Godir sticking around the area too. Oh no.
And Godir's going to turn up. Pillar of Ice comes in, not going to be able to do enough. Khan takes a couple of turret shots. Slice and dives comes in. It's another kill for Khan. 12-inch, 0 and 4. And this isn't looking good for Grim Legion as in the mid lane, biggest ever snowball is going to land onto XM. The CC comes through. XM with a flash over the wall. Ignite ticking. One more tick will do it. Shutdown comes through regardless. Godir though, looking a little bit aggressive. In comes Jack. He finds the CC with a phantom on the toe. as the ult will find one. As the ultimate comes through from Hands of Blood, buys a little bit of time and some damage, but no further engagement. It's going to be a 1-for-1 in the mid lane.
Yeah. Good roam there, good response. I think XM waited a while to flash, and he could have definitely run up forward. Just kind of burnt it a little too late, and the Ignite was able to take down. Good response again. Jack finding a fantastic.
Oh, in the bot lane, in comes the engage with the rocket jump. Ozzy getting low. The flash forward. The rocket jump to safe. In comes the flash bone skewer. Can't quite find his mark. The flash forward from Sleepy Bulbasaur. Glacial Fidget comes in. It's a double kill. TP coming in on the backline from XM. The rocket jump to safety followed by the stand behind me from Braun will mean that Ikaya can survive. Good double kill coming through from Grim Legion and bringing them back into this game.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Tristana is made for. You can duel other ADCs very, very easily with this champion, and you saw it right there. Even tower diving to be able to get something out there. Well done by Ikaya on this Tristana. Again, we expected this to go to a solo lane, but certainly you saw its prowess in that bot lane, being able to 1v1 the Sivert.
Godia wants to try to steal this.
You get Ikaya very easily.
Looking at it, as you mentioned, Ikaya really, really low. The CC comes through. The ultimate, it will go over onto Sleepy Bulbasaur to find the kill. Hands of Blood trying to peel for Ikaya. Ikaya on the run. Hands of Blood will be able to use the blast gun to safety. Ikaya gets hit by the bone skewer. Ikaya can't use a rocket jump to safety. Will get taken down as Godia on a rampage. And Ozzy will do the work to secure this Mountain Drake.
And this is what a lot of differences between what you see with Polar Ace's success versus what what happens when they kind of lose is whether Gaudier is all over the map, whether he has presence. If he has presence in the map, you know Polar Ace is having some success in the game. But as you saw, you're seeing in this one, this is kind of what the team is doing. They're finding positive traits all over the map, being able to be proactive, that kind of thing, all off the back of Gaudier's success. Whereas when they kind of start losing or when they're behind on the back foot, Gaudier almost disappears. So you want to keep him in the state where he is winning because he looks a lot different of a player.
Pillar of Ice coming through in the top lane to try and bind. Sometimes it's not going to be enough. Phantom Undertow finds the CC. Depth from below. Actually, no, the kill going over onto XM, but a kill nonetheless once again onto 12-inch, who's not having the best of time in that top lane.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's the struggle of playing this Trundle into something like Renekton or even into something like Rise. Like when people can just run you down and there's very little you can do about it. He built exclusively armor, no magic resist, which means he has nothing to defend against this Rise with. So if you want to lane swap and throw Syndra into the Renekton, this is the positive matchup you can get now. And that's really good for both these solo laners.
Wait and see as the Rift Herald has been started, will get secured, but you know, I don't want to kind of cast the dice just yet because in game one we saw a similar situation where Grim Legion were behind, but then in came those, you know, the 1v2s that Grim Legion were able to turn around, out-rotate Polar Ace. But I'm starting to feel like game's feeling a little bit different.
Like I said, I think this game feels a lot different because I don't think Trundle does what Maokai does. In terms of team fighting, in terms of tanking damage, all of that just feels so much different than usual.
Oh, Ikai is going to be able to dodge the bone skewer, will be able to use a rocket jump to safety. Good sidestepping coming through from Ikai there.
Yeah. Again, I think this game looks a lot different for a lot of reasons, but mostly it's Jack and Gaudier just being everywhere. In a game like last one, they weren't being super proactive. A lot of their advantage was coming off of well-fought skirmishes or well-timed ganks or something along those lines. But in this one, they're kind of playing it forward. They're playing ahead of their game pace. Jack is all over the map. Gaudier's all over the map. They're pushing their advantages where they need to, and that's why this team looks so much. That's why you said it looks like a different game, because this isn't just a team that's taking advantages where they're given. It's a team that's just taking them because they're forcing it to happen.
Grim Legion bot lane will push in onto this turret to get a little bit more damage through. Gotti is here, but the rotations coming through from Reinek. Jack will take a little bit of damage, but in comes Reinek, the scatterer of the week, finds the pick, in comes the biggest ever snowball, it gets the knockup, Gotti gets blown apart by the unleashed power. Now it's Ozzy's turn to fall. Ikai with a rocket jump forward. Sleepy Bulbasaur will sacrifice his life. Realm Warp comes in. Absolute Zero will find damage. XM will fall as well. It's 4 kills for 1. And once again, Grim Legion pull themselves back into this game.
Yeah, and that's off the back of, not to me, Polar Ace is
in the top lane, the CC comes through. Can't picking up a solo kill yet again. He is now 2-1-3, but more specifically 12-inch 0-6 as Grim Legion find another turret in this bot lane.
Yeah, should be able to at least equalize towers in that top side. But again, to me, it's Polar Ace. They had a good idea. They wanted to contest that. They wanted to bring people back, but they were just too disjunct about it. TP came in from XM really late, and Sivir got there a little after the fight had already started. They could have pulled back and just given away the tower, but they want to opt for the fight. But they're not on the same page of when the fight needs to start, because it starts well before either the Sivir or the Rise gets there. So they kind of come in one by one, Stormtrooper style, and end up losing the fight very, very poorly. It cost them 2 towers as well. So now their gold lead that they had amassed over what were really good rotations is now lost because of some poor luck.
Grim Legion seems so good at baiting the team, as you call it, the Stormtrooper style of coming in one by one to their deaths, and it just feels unfortunate for Polar Ace. They've picked this Rise, they've picked this Pike, and they've been making it work so well, but I feel like we might be going back into the same kind of thing that we saw in game 1, as Infernal Drake is going to be on the map in 30 seconds, and Grim Legion do have priority for the Drake.
The other really poor truth about this game right now is that both the Syndra and the Tristana are fed, and those are the people they need to be fed. It doesn't matter that Trundle is 0-6. If he ults somebody, he gives value to a fight, and then immediately Syndra and Tristana can try to take over from there. You know, there's gold spread all the way across Polar Ace. They need to find a way to use it on these members to try to win team fights ahead of time instead of taking some of the duels against Syndra, against Tristana, because you're not going to win those right now.
Oh, as XM takes a lot of damage, Unleashed Power picks up the kill for Reinik. Drake is on the map now. Grim Legion looking to collapse. Actually, as that's going to be a 1-for-1. The turret damage finds the kill onto Jack. In comes the engage with the Snowball. Finds the CC onto Khan. The Dominos comes through. He's onto the Tristana. Too much damage though. Ikaya finds the kill. It's 3 kills for 1. Gotti gets taken down. Make that 4 kills for 1. Biggest ever Snowball is being channeled. Not going to be committed though. 4 kills for 1, and Grim Legion turn their attention to their second Infernal Drake of the game.
And again, a very unfortunate truth. It was a decent call from Polar Ace to start that off, but poorly executed because Jack died, well, for basically no reason. I don't think he took an actual attack or anything. Maybe one from Reinik, but he died mostly at tower, and that doesn't need to happen. All he has to do is let the kill go over. Maybe
oh no, biggest ever Snowball coming through. Can they find the CC? They'll find it.
Oh, that pillar!
Oh, the pillar cancelling the flash. Best timing if I've ever seen it. The fight continues at Khan with a TP. Ikaya in the backline trying to find the damage. Sleepy Bulbasaur gets taken down by the Ricochet. Ikaya using the rocket jump to safety. The heal won't be able to get enough, but it's 3 kills for 2. Once again, Grim Legion finding the pick. The Bone Skewer pulls Reinik on the turret. Unleashed Power comes through. Double kill onto Reinik. He falls to the turret regardless, as now Grim Legion will find yet another turret. 17 kills to 15 and over a 1k gold advantage after being so far behind.
It's such a shame because again, Polar Ace is making these solid decisions in terms of like what they need to do. It's just how they're executing it is so poor. That fight again, it was disjoint. It was the Stormtrooper style that we talked about a second ago. One person after another. It started with XM going down, and then it was Khan had an amazing start to that fight. He got so many people in his ultimate, in his Q. That was really, actually he didn't ult during that fight because I don't think he had it up, but still huge damage in the AoE with his Q. And Ozzy was able to almost clean that entire fight up alongside Jack, but Jack doesn't have the ultimate. Everybody's kind of disjoint, and again, coming in one at a time is not going to win them the fight basically ever. So really unfortunate that that's the way the fight went, but still, Polar Ace has to clean it up if they want to take advantage of some of these plays that they're designing.
As you mentioned, 17 kills to 15, we're going to be getting an Ocean Drake coming through, which might work quite well for Grim Legion if they can get this Baron, if they can pick up this Baron and then start to seed that mana and health regeneration will come in pretty handy. But we're going to have to see how Polar Ace look to defend. As you mentioned, they've just been struggling to find the right fights, you know. So often, as you mentioned there, Ikaya, Sleepy Bulbasaur, and Reinik super low. And they go in to try to find the damage, but it swings at some random point, and somehow Grim Legion come out on top. We saw it in game 1. We're seeing it now. We saw it yesterday. Somehow Grim Legion just keep making this work.
Yeah, again, you have to talk about the kind of thing. They're actually doing a death brush here. I'm not sure they're going to find anybody. If I did guess... Okay, They need to get wards down, but I don't.
They might
no.
find Jack here. Oh, Glacial Fissure will find his mark, and that's gonna be a kill super fast. Jack didn't even have time to use a Phantom Undertow, and Grim Legion say, that's it, we're going over to Baron. We have a 5v4. 12-inch doesn't have TP available, but he might be a little bit late to the fight. Grim Legion are happy with that. Got it, looking for something from the other side of the pit. The dominance has been popped. In comes Redneck, looking to get some damage with a slice and dice. Unleashed Power will be able to find the kill. Ozzy taking damage. The snowballs will come through. 12-inch taking down really low. Ricochets will do the rest. Ozzy finding the kill as Baron has been secured. Rocket jump forward. Ozzy takes a lot of damage. The ultimate comes through. There's no bomb. The flash forward secures the kill. The pipe hook comes through, but it's not going to be able to do anything. Hands of Blood looking to find the CC onto Jack. Jack will fall twice in the space of a minute. It's an ace. 5-4-2 as Grim Legion take yet another turret. They will crack open the base as they start on the inhibitor turret, and they could even get an inhibitor here.
And give some props to Akaya, man. He showed such solid play right there. The confidence he had to jump over that wall with Baron to try to take down Aussie to prevent any wave clear so they could push in and take that inhibitor for free was astonishing. He got everything he wanted to, wasn't punished by Gaudier. Perfect positioning from Akaya on this Tristana. And again, time after time, we're saying this over and over again. Polar Ace takes too much. They push too far forward. They do something wrong when they have an advantage, and then it just continues to compound. They are snowballing out of control against themselves. It's like they're falling backwards down a mountain. They were working their way up slowly, and then they just took too big of a step and are rolling backwards. And now Grimoire takes advantage of it every step of the way, and now we've seen it twice in 2 games. Advantage goes towards Polar. Grimoire just took the first the first Baron with 2 Infernal Drakes and 6,000 gold lead with a 10-kill Tristana. I don't know how you come back from that.
I was about to bring this up, how do Polar Ace comes up, if best case scenario, what can they hope for apart from, Grim Legion all running it down and Polar Ace getting a lucky egg?
They really need vision control. It's something that I think they've been lacking for a majority of their games. It's not that Jack is doing a poor job of it, it's just that overall their vision seems kind of sparse in areas that they need it to not be in. The other thing is, right now, they've got to play pick composition. They can't play anything else.
Oh, Eskim, the flash forward comes through. Exum will be deleted before Realm Walk can be completed. It's another kill going over to Grim Legion, and it might be enough for them to really close out this game. They make their way over to their second inhibitor turret. 12-inch pushing in the top lane, has TP available. Scatter of the Weak finds the CC onto Jack. Jack will be able to escape. The second inhibitor turret is falling. Polar Ace need to pull the trigger on the hunt. Has been burnt. Ozzy takes a little bit of poke from Scatter of the Weak. The flash forward from Khan. TP's coming in from 12-inch. Ikaya backing off, poking from the backline. He's finding so much damage. He gets the reset. It's a double kill for Ikaya, and that is 3 kills for nothing. Grim Legion, they do everything right in their team fight. Polar Ace have one last chance. They're looking to make something work. Only Sivir and Rise available. Grim Legion don't care. Polar Ace, they went for the rotations. They went for the kills, but they weren't able to make it work, and Grim Legion will take the series with a 2-0 and secure a spot in playoffs.
It's just a byproduct. The first that last fight right there is what I'm trying to mention here, is when Sivir pulls the ultimate, the team kind of goes forward, Khan flashes, tries to get on Tristana. That was the first kind of cohesive play I saw most of the game, where everybody was on board, they all engaged at the same time, and it almost kind of worked. The issue is when you're down 6,000 gold, you have a 10-kill Tristana. Doesn't matter how hard you dive on her with a Trinectin, with a Pike, you're gonna die, and that's what happened. If they can take that decisiveness and make it much earlier in the game, use these teleports together, kind of find these roams together, they could win these games very easily. It's just that they're not able to make that happen earlier, and they're not able to prevent mistakes. So Grimoire, they just take these mistakes, over and over again. Look at this. This is a 7-death Trundle. I think he had 6 deaths before he had his second assist, and he won this game. Like, he almost had as much gold as his top lane opponent. That should not happen if you're on the side of Polaris. So just Grimoire playing the game perfectly. Look at that. The 2, 1, and 19 Nunu, the 10 or now 13 kill Tristana. Astonishing play by these players.
And actually, this is something that I want to bring up because I remember actually, when I was talking about it, I was saying, and look, 12-inch, he's currently 0-6-1. And I then went on to say, and look how fed Khan is. And then I realized, Khan wasn't fed because Gotti was taking the picks, playing on the Rick side, trying to take the advantages to the other lane. But as a result, they had no, I guess, substantial carry.
Yeah, and it's also like an issue with this team that you saw tank play constantly through this series from the side of Grimoire. You see engage plays from Nunu and from all these different kinds of players. They don't have that. Gaudier is an assassin by nature. He's just an aggressive player and a carry by nature. So you have to have that engage from somewhere. But when you're playing, Rise and Renekton and Rek'Sai, and then you're playing like Pyke and Sivir, you don't have hard engage. You have run at them and see if something sticks, which is what happened in that last team fight. Somebody has to step up and be the guy who can say, I want to engage, I want to start fights, I don't care if I have to play a tank. We need somebody to do it.
Yeah. However, if you had to put your finger then on, let's say, on an MVP then from Grim Legion, who would it be and why?
I think Ryanek was crazy through most of the series. Akaya was also very good through both games. But to me, I think Ryanek stuck out as the Syndra was really good and the Vladimir was very, very good. So I think Ryanek was the MVP. He just completely devastated XM, kind of took him out of the entire game.
Oh, Ryanek was our MVP from yesterday. Let's see if we can get him in then for a quick little interview. Hopefully we can get in touch with him, bring him in, ask him, because I'm actually kind of curious because once again Grim Legion, and I keep on bringing this up because it is honestly kind of fascinating, the fact that they do keep on losing these early games. They lose out to whatever ganks it is, but then they come back as, how you doing, Ryanek? That was a good game.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Not too bad.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Long
time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
All right, so first off, let's just start with this question. How does it feel to take the game? I think it's confirmation of playoffs as well, correct?
I'm not sure, honestly. We still have another game against Team Fish Tacos.
Milky, didn't you stay?
It is confirmed, yeah. Polar Ace have finished 1-6, No Fear 1-6, Grim Legion 2-4, so they're in the top 6 regardless. It's just seeding now.
It's a good feeling. We were all talking about that, and they were like, "Did we get it?" Or... So it's always nice.
So there it is, confirmation of playoffs. Okay, so we'll talk about the games to start with. In both games, it felt like Polaris had a lead at some point. I think this is just kind of what we were talking about on the caster desk. What was your guys' mindset in both games where you had or you were losing, especially game 2, where Trundle died, I don't know, 4 or 5 times without any kind of response, yet you brought both games back. What was it that you guys did to kind of prevent this from snowballing against you?
Well, we just knew that from watching them, did a decent amount of scouting that they were just gonna hard camp top. So as long as we snowball our carry lanes, then eventually it's just gonna bust open. We're just gonna play front to back, and then they can't reach our carries, while their carries are their frontliners that are getting drained by our carries. So that was kind of our game plan in both these games. And then in game 1, I literally almost called every single pick, and we just hard banned out the top laner on all of his hard engaged champions and forced him onto some champion like Jace, and then we just snowballed our bot lane carry and mid lane carry, and then they didn't have a response.
Pretty interesting. Another thing I want to point out is, I didn't so I haven't seen it much in the last few years, especially. But you guys are running 2-3 tank compositions now. Is that just where the meta's at, in your opinion, or is it something unique to you guys where you're just running multiple tanks to try to protect these 2 carries that you're really running?
Personally, I just like right now, as I was saying before, I think AP casters and all that stuff, mid lane and control mages are the meta right now. So if you don't really have a front line for them, then it becomes devastating if they just get a hard engage on you. As you can see, if you don't have tank, you have nothing to absorb damage to protect your carry. So if we drafted some sort of more, assassin-y top laner and jungler, when their bruisers get fed, there's no peel or any support for our carry, so then we would lose that. So we decide to forfeit the top lane and, put them on a little island and say, good luck, dude.
That's fair. Milky, do you have any other questions? I'll see if anyone has anything.
Yeah, a couple of questions. So, just to satisfy my curiosity, what is your comms like? Because for me, it always stands out. Like, you win these skirmishes, you out-rotate your enemies. What is your comms like? How active are you guys?
Extremely. Honestly, sometimes I feel like we're too active. Sometimes you just hear everyone talking, and it's like a bombard. But realistically, I feel like we're all so on point that we're all screaming. Like, we'll have like 5 people screaming Rek'Sai, like, or no flash or whatever, etc., and like peel or etc. And it's very, very, very active comms now, especially. That's what makes our skirmishes so strong.
And my final question then is, before yesterday, you guys were 0-8. You're now 4-8. It's going. You have momentum now heading into playoffs, or well, actually, you've got a final game against Team Fish Tacos, and then you've got playoffs. How far do you think you can make it?
I mean, as long as we just keep playing properly, I think there's a lot of good teams in here, and of course, we don't want to talk bad to them, but I think we're definitely a competitor now, and we're starting to show it. So I just hope that we just keep up our gameplay, and we could maybe turn this whole thing around.
Well, we look forward to those games in playoffs and to see you again. And I'm guessing probably see you here as MVP for yet another interview.
No, come on. I was 100%. Ikea, Kai, our AD carry, absolute monster that game. He literally was unstoppable. Our jungler played perfectly. Honestly, in our game plan, we focused and snowballed our bot lanes. And a shout out obviously to the support being like crazy, and then the biggest shout out goes to our top laner who keeps a level mental, like a good mental head, and doesn't tilt at all, and then just realizes that we're just gonna snowball in the team fights after.
Oh yeah, that
and shout out to Store or going.
Yeah, shout outs, yeah.
Yeah, this time I get the shout outs.
Oh, I completely
it was definitely a fun series.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations
right.
to you and Grim Legion for your guys' win.
Appreciate it, guys.
Well, Grim Legion take another 2-0 victory. They are now 4-0 from their last 2 games and looking really, really strong. Over on ABL Stream 1, I believe it was a 2-0 victory for First Blood eSports against Team Fish Tacos. So those are all the games for today. Done. Oh,
wait. We might have.
Oh no, there's another game. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
10:30.
there is a game at 10:30. You saved me. I definitely wasn't going to make a mistake.
Haven't seen Z here either, so it might be us again, casting 10:30. We're going to ABL 1. Everybody take it over there. We get to watch. What is it? It's Team Fish, or Dynasty. Dynasty versus White Lotus.
Dynasty, White Lotus, yes. So, Rebel's definitely going to be over there.
I'm going to be there.
I might not be. Z might be your play-by-play caster. So yeah, head over onto ABL Stream 1. But this is ABL Stream 2 signing out. Grim Legion taking the 2-0 victory. We'll be seeing them next time in playoffs. Thank you guys very much for watching. And from myself and somewhat from Rebel, we'll see you next time.